There is a silence in the noise of the modern world, a quiet truth that separates the few from the many. If you look closely at the architecture of society, you will notice a distinct divide, not just in bank accounts, but in freedom. The richest entities in the world are not employees, they are owners. They possess businesses, they hold assets, and they control intellectual property and rare skills. Meanwhile, the vast majority of the population owns nothing but their labor, selling their time for a currency that loses value every single day due to inflation and government printing. If you do not own something, you are what is owned. This is the harsh reality most people miss. But today, we are going to deconstruct the financial architecture of the top 1% and apply a specific framework that allows anyone, regardless of their starting point, to reclaim their sovereignty. This is the 25-15-50-10 rule, a mathematical philosophy designed to transition you from a laborer to an owner. Let us begin with the foundation of your future. The first 25% of your income belongs to growth. This is not merely saving for a rainy day. This is the conscription of your money into an army that fights for your freedom. Most people treat their income as a resource to be consumed immediately. They pay their masters, the landlord, the utility company, the taxman, the subscription services, and then they trade the remainder for fleeting pleasures, leaving them with nothing but memories of what they once had. This cycle is designed to keep you breathless, waiting for the next paycheck just to survive. It is a modern form of servitude where the illusion of choice masks the reality of dependence. To break this, you must take the first quarter of your toil and convert it into assets. An asset is simply a vehicle that travels through time, carrying your value and growing it while you sleep. Consider the story of two men on different timelines, Billy and Phil. Billy understood the power of time. He began planting his financial seeds at age 20, investing just $200 a month into a standard index fund. Phil waited until he was 30. He enjoyed his 20s, spent his money on cars and clothes, but at 30, he tried to compensate by investing $300 a month. Logic might suggest Phil would win because he worked harder and contributed more capital per month for a longer duration of his adult life. But the mathematics of the universe favor the early. Billy, despite stopping his contributions later, allows the compound growth of the market to work its magic. Assuming a standard market return of 10% over decades, Billy, the one who started with less but started sooner, ends up with nearly double the wealth of Phil. This is the power of compound growth. It is the eighth wonder of the world, and it rewards patience over intensity. Do not wait for the perfect moment or a massive salary. Start now, even if it is small, because the cost of waiting is the price of your freedom. Now you must ask, where does this growth happen? The landscape of investment is vast, ranging from the bedrock of safety to the peaks of volatility. For the majority, the journey should begin with index funds. This is not gambling. This is buying a slice of the entire productive economy. When you buy the S&P 500, you are not betting on a single horse. You are betting on the track itself. Owning a piece of the largest 500 companies in America, companies like Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft, means they become your employees working for you. Allow this to sit quietly in the background, compounding without your interference. Logic might suggest Phil would win because he worked harder and contributed more capital per month for a longer duration of his adult life. But the mathematics of the universe favor the early. Billy, despite stopping his contributions later, allows the compound growth of the market to work its magic. Assuming a standard market return of 10% over decades, Billy, the one who started with less but started sooner, ends up with nearly double the wealth of Phil. This is the power of compound growth. It is the eighth wonder of the world, and it rewards patience over intensity. Do not wait for the perfect moment or a massive salary. Start now, even if it is small, because the cost of waiting is the price of your freedom. Now you must ask, where does this growth happen? The landscape of investment is vast, ranging from the bedrock of safety to the peaks of volatility. For the majority, the journey should begin with index funds. This is not gambling. This is buying a slice of the entire productive economy. When you buy the S&P 500, you are not betting on a single horse. You are betting on the track itself. Owning a piece of the largest 500 companies in America, companies like Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft, means they become your employees working for you. Allow this to sit quietly in the background, compounding without your interference. Beyond the stock market, there is real estate. The ownership of physical land, whether through direct purchase or real estate investment trusts, giving you a claim on the physical world. Then there is the acquisition of skills. Unlike a stock which can crash or a house which can burn, a skill is an internal asset that no market correction can strip from you. Learning to sell, to code, or to create content yields the highest return on investment because it increases the value of your labor hour. Finally, at the apex of risk lie individual stocks and alternative assets like cryptocurrency. These are the moonshots, the speculative ventures that can create massive wealth or destroy it entirely. Treat these with caution. Build your foundation on the rock of index funds and skills before you attempt to build a castle in the clouds of speculation. However, growing your wealth is futile if you lose it to inefficiency. This brings us to the mechanics of the system: taxation. Legally minimizing your tax burden is not evasion, it is stewardship. In the United Kingdom, utilizing a stocks and shares ISA allows your investments to grow free from the taxman's harvest up to £20,000 a year. In the United States, the Roth IRA is the holy grail. You contribute money that has already been taxed, but from that moment on, every cent of growth and every dollar of withdrawal and retirement is completely tax-free. Imagine turning thousands into millions and keeping every single penny. That is the power of the right vehicle. Employ the 401k match from your employer, which is essentially free money, a 100% return on your investment instantly. Do not let your hard-earned growth be eroded by a lack of knowledge. Automate this process. Set a direct debit the moment your income hits your account, moving that 25% directly into your investment vehicle before you have the emotional urge to spend it. Remove the human error from the equation and let the system build your freedom. Now we must address the defense of your fortress. The next 15% of your income is dedicated to stability. Most people do not have a problem with making money. They have a problem with keeping their balance. When the storms of life arrive, and they always arrive without stability, you are fragile. One unexpected medical bill, one mechanical failure, one job loss, and the entire structure of your life collapses. Consider the cautionary tale of a young man who buys a car to project status, only to have the engine fail. Without a safety net, he is forced to borrow, compounding debt upon disaster, turning a minor mechanical issue into a major financial crisis. This is how poverty traps are built. Stability is the antidote to this chaos. Calculate your monthly baseline, the absolute minimum required to keep you alive and housed. Multiply this by 5. This is your target shield. 15% of your income must flow into this reservoir until it is full. This money is not for investment. It is not for risk. It must be liquid, accessible within 24 hours, and stored in a high-yield savings account where it can earn interest without exposure to market volatility. This fund transforms you from fragile to anti-fragile. When the car breaks or the economy turns, it is an inconvenience, not a tragedy. To build this fast, utilize the paycheck sweep, moving the money immediately upon receipt. Promise yourself that if you touch this fund, you will replenish it with the urgency of a gasp for air. Use technology to round up your spare change, creating a steady drip of savings that accumulates into a... Once the stability fund is full, you have options. You can divert that cash flow into more growth or into the final category of rewards. But first, we must confront the largest drain on your resources, the 50% that goes to essentials. This is the battleground of the ego versus the reality. In a consumerist society, we are trained to conflate needs with wants. We are told that a luxury car is a need for safety, that a larger house is a need for comfort, that dining out is a need for sustenance. This is a lie that keeps high-income earners living paycheck to paycheck. Wealth is not what you see. Wealth is what you do not see. It is the car you did not buy, the clothes you did not upgrade, the subscription you canceled. To master the 50%, you must ruthlessly audit your life. Separate the biological necessities, food, shelter, utilities, from the psychological desires. Housing and transport are the two great wealth destroyers. If you can keep your housing costs low, perhaps by house hacking or living below your means, and if you can resist the allure of the new car, driving a reliable used vehicle instead, you win the game. Half of the battle is simply refusing to participate in the status competition of your peers. Employ stoic rules to govern your impulses. When you desire a purchase, ask, "Is this an impulse?" If yes, wait 7 days. Let the emotion fade and see if the logic remains. Most of the time, the desire will vanish because it was based on a dopamine spike, not a genuine need. Ask yourself, are you buying the brand or the value? A wealthy mindset seeks quality that lasts, not a logo that signals status to people who do not care about you. If the purchase does not improve your life fundamentally, it is a distraction. Eliminate the clutter, cancel the unused memberships, and streamline your existence. The lower your cost of living, the higher your level of freedom. Finally, we arrive at the last 10%, the sector of rewards. This is not frivolous, this is strategic. Discipline without joy is unsustainable. If you starve yourself of all pleasure in the pursuit of a future number, you will eventually break and binge, destroying your progress. The 10% is the pressure valve that keeps the engine running. Guilt-free spending is a psychological necessity, but you must prioritize high-value rewards. Travel and experiences create memories that compound in value over time, unlike material goods which depreciate the moment they leave the store. Hobbies that ignite your passion keep your spirit alive, preventing the burnout that threatens your earning potential. Investing in relationships through gifts and shared experiences builds a social capital that is priceless. Create a separate account, a joy jar, and automate this 10% transfer. When the money is there, spend it without hesitation. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, knowing that your growth, stability, and essentials are already taken care of. But when the jar is empty, the spending stops. This scarcity creates meaning. It forces you to choose the experiences that truly matter rather than mindlessly consuming mediocrity. This is the architecture of the 25-15-50-10 rule. It is not just a method of managing money. It is a method of managing life. It creates a system where your future is bought and paid for, your present is protected, your needs are met with efficiency, and your soul is nourished with joy. The path to the 1% is not paved with luck. It is paved with discipline, intention, and the courage to own your destiny rather than being owned by it. Start today, not with a grand gesture, but with a single step towards the architecture of your freedom. Because in the end, it is not about the money, it is about the life the money allows you to live.